Hi, it's Patrick here from the Code Lovers Academy, and welcome to this video, this HTML series that is coming to the end. So today we'll be looking at we want to build a simple web page, and we will be building a coffee shop web page, and it will be something that you'll actually learn a lot. You can actually use it in your portfolio if you follow along and be able to build something that we are doing together here. But without wasting time, I would encourage you to subscribe to this channel, subscribe, so that you'll be able to you'll be able to get updates whenever we upload a video on this channel. You'll be able to get a notification that we have uploaded. But also comment on these videos and let us know what you guys want us to do, how we are doing. But also share with friends who are in this journey of web development, but also those whom you know really want to get into tech. This could be a good beginning point for them. So yeah, without wasting time, we'll be using Visual Studio Code as our code editor and Chrome as our default browser to preview our code as we keep moving. So quickly, let's preview what we're going to build. So we're going to build something simple as this. As you can see, Urban Brew Coffee Shop. And it will look like this, something simple, but really informative and educative. And if you stick around and follow along, then you're going to learn a lot. So we're also going to link, I'm going to link files to these pictures, to these images that you can download. If you want to use the same images, but you can also use different ones and create something different. So you can go to Pixabay. Let me show you quickly. Pixabay, and from Pixabay, you can actually look for images. So Pixabay, you could say you want images. So when you go to images, you can be able to download some of the images that you can use for this purpose. So that is that. So without wasting time, let's get into it. So earlier I had already created a folder for this project, and we just want to open and start. So we can get here, go and look for that folder, and I called it Coffee Shop Simple Web Page. So we'll open that. When we open that, we'll get here. So first, we want to get our boilerplate. So our first file that we're going to create is going to be index.html. And once we create that file, we can get the boilerplate Shift-1, which will give you the exclamation mark. Tab it, and you have your boilerplate. On the other hand, I love to have my resources at my disposal here so that I stop running around like a headless chicken, looking for images, looking for the resources that I need to use on the project. So I like to import them right away to my VS Code. So how do I do that? Already I have them downloaded here, so we'll import them quickly. So we'll come to our VS Code, come to the folder, create a folder for images. You can just call that images real quick, and drag those images that we want to use to that folder. So we can drag them. That image. Also need to drag an image here, and we drag our last image. So we have 3 images, and real quick we can start working since now we have everything here with us. So yeah, we created our first index.html file, and in this index.html file, we need to change the title, and we can call the title Coffee Shop Web Page. And after that, we can come to our body. So we have learned so many things in our HTML series, and one of the things that we learned that we need to write our code semantically. We looked at the benefits of that, and I will not go into that again, but we want to write it semantically. What do I mean? We want to have our header, just as you see, as we were previewing our simple web page here. We have the header here, which says Urban Brew Coffee Shop, and then that a small description there. And then we have this the main part here, which is the main content of this web page. It's going to be something like a landing page, and then we have a footer down here. So we want to start with the header section. So in the header section, we will have a header, that is our semantic tag. And under the header, we will have an H1. And remember, H1, we'll just copy it here to avoid wasting time. So we'll copy, we have here Urban Brew Coffee Shop. So I'll copy that, bring it here, and have it there. And then we have a paragraph under that. And the paragraph under that says your favorite local spot for fresh coffee and pastries. So we'll have that as the next one. And then our header section is complete. Then we will move to the main content section. So we put a comment and say this is the main content section. So under the main content section, we will have the main tags, which is also a semantic tag. And under that, we will have an about section. Under that, we'll also have a comment and say we'll have the about section here. And under the about section, we will have a section. It's also a semantic tag. And under the section, we'll have our H2. Remember, we had our first title to be an H1. And if we're looking at the hierarchy of titles, we can't repeat to use an H1 again. So this time we're using an H2 as the second in the hierarchy of our titles. And we will have welcome to Urban Brew as our H2. And then right under that, we have our paragraph, and the paragraph will be at Urban Brew, we do so that's it. And we have that. So when we preview this and just see what we have had so far, you are going to see that we already have Urban Brew Coffee Shop, and then we have this. So what is next? So we are moving forward to our next section. Still under the main, we have now our menu section, okay? So under the section, closing tag there, we'll have another section. And this section will be called, I think let's give a comment and say this is our menu section. This will display our menu. So under that menu section, we will have, we will use divs. These are not really descriptive, but they help us cluster things into different groups. Like here we have like three items on our menu, so we can use divs to separate them. So under that div, we'll have the first thing we'll have is the image. So remember we pulled our images earlier, and we can move one step since they're in a different folder, and just choose our first image is going to be Espresso. And the alternative text, we said earlier that the alternative text helps you, helps the browser to describe, to know what actually this image is about. In case this image is not displayed, this text will be displayed. And even those guys who are using screen readers will be able to see, to know what is actually on this page. So we'll just call this Espresso as an alternative text. And then we'll have an H3 under that. Our H3 will have Espresso. We can just copy it from here. Espresso, and have it there. And then we'll have a paragraph under that. And the paragraph will have rich, bold espresso brewed to perfection. So we can copy that and say paragraph, we have that. Okay. Without wasting time doing this again, we will highlight the first div since all of them will look the same. They only have different pictures and different wordings, but we can copy this and say Alt, Shift Alt and the down arrow and copy two times. And we can just change the image here and say now, instead of espresso, our next image is a croissant. And we can also have a description here as a croissant. I don't know whether I'm whether I'm whether I'm actually saying it well, but that's it. And here we'll also have a croissant. So sometimes we'll have, and then on our paragraph, we'll have, in the paragraph, we'll just copy this and say it's flaky, buttery croissant fresh out of the oven. So we just copy that and have it as its description here. In the next image, we'll also change that to a cappuccino. A cappuccino. I think that's it. So we have images, and this time we want this image of a cappuccino. Sometimes the pronunciation can be really terrible, but you bear with me. And here we'll have a cappuccino. Wow. Cappuccino. Cool. Here we have the same thing. Okay. We'll have the same thing here as cappuccino. And the description here, of course, will change. And we'll have this cappuccino is a perfect blend of espresso, steamed milk, and foam. I don't know whether those are the ingredients, but then, yeah, what it is. So we have that. We have 3 of them. When we go and preview what we have, now we have these big pictures vertically aligned on this page. And yeah, we have them there. What do we do next? We have, now we have a section. We have now the footer section, the last section on our page. And we can call this the contact section because it will have our contact and maybe our address. And in this case, we'll have the footer semantic tag to enclose that. So the browser knows that this is the footer section. And we'll have an H2. And we can say, visit us. After that H2, we can have a paragraph. And in that paragraph, we can have, maybe we have 1, 2, 3 Coffee Lane. 1, 2, 3 Coffee Lane. Coffee Lane, Brewtown, USA. So Brewtown, USA. And the last one, we can have an address and say, we can also put it in a paragraph and just say this address, we can have it as a link. So it will have an hypertext reference and we can copy that. We can have that address and say, maybe if we search for a Brewtown coffee, something, will we find anything relatable? Let me just say, like, if I just searched for Brewtown coffee shop. So the Brewtown coffee shop, we can look in the Google Maps and maybe just note that. Let's look at something else here and say, hey, I'm saying Brewtown is in Ireland here. So maybe we'll need to change that. So when I get that, I can get this and say, maybe I need to have this address. Okay, there. So we can have this. We can have this as our address. So I can just have it here as the address. And what we need to put, we can put a target attribute there. Target attribute, so that when we open that, it will take us to a different page. So you can use it as blank. And what can we have there? Find us here. Okay, and that's it. So now we have our stuff done. Now we have our stuff done. We can now look at how do we style this, and now we have this. It's not looking good because it's not styled as we want it to look in like this one. So we will style this and make it look appealing, more appealing. So we need to include some classes here to help us to style. So in the header, we will include a class and say we have a class of header. And then in our main section, we'll have a class of content on the main. So here we'll have a class of content. And then on the section, we'll have a class of menu section. On this section here, we can call it, not on the menu section. Yeah, we'll call it a menu section. Now here on the about section, you'll have your menu section here. On the menu section, we'll have a class of menu section. And in the divs, we'll have a class of menu item in every div. So we'll have it as menu item. And then we can copy this and put it on every div. Okay, every div. So in this div, we'll have this. And in this div, we'll also have it there. What else? What other class do we need to put? We can come to the footer and have the contact info. On the footer, we can have a class of contact info there. And yeah, that's where we are. So we now need to style this. Now we have a perfect HTML, semantically written HTML, and we have our page. But now we need to style and make it look appealing. So when we go to the head, we'll have styles. We're going to use inline styling. We're styling the same page. And the first thing we want to do is want to style the body. The body will have the font family. And our font family will be Arial. That, as you can see, the font has changed. And then we can have a reset and say we don't want any margins because we want to have control over our margins when we're styling. And then we also remove the padding completely. As you can see, now there are no margins, there's no padding. And then we can also have a background color and make it a bit not too white. We can make it look not too white, so we change that background color. And then now we want to style our header, our first header. So I like, instead of writing the class, I love to come and copy the class because sometimes you can misspell it and then you style and then you see no changes and you think you're doing a wrong thing and yet you're styling something different. So a dot start with the class, we copy that. And on the head, we want to change the background color for our head, okay? Remember, in the original stuff, we have our head as a background of black. So now we want to put that background and we'll use that darker color, a bit darker color for that. And now our background is black. And then our text is now not seen and we want that text to pop up. So we'll make the text white. So now our text is white. That part looks so squeezed. The words are not breathing enough. So we want to give top and bottom a padding of 10 pixels, and left and right, we want to give 20 pixels. So you can see now these words can breathe a little bit. And we want to align it to the center. So we'll say text align to the center. Now they align to the center. So we're done with our header. As you can see, looks pretty good, aligned in the middle, good spacing there. Yeah. Now we want to style our content. So as you come here, we have a class of content here. So we pick this class. Okay, we pick this class, go up here, a dot for a class, and then we style our content. So how do you want to style our content? As you look in the original one, in the original document, you can see there's a margins on the side of the content, bigger margins, a lot of space on the sides here, as you can see, a lot of space on the sides. So we need to set that margin, but we also need to give a little bit of padding, spacing on these words. As you can see here, some of these words are really spaced in a way that there's no space and they're small. So how do you do that? So we come to the content, and real quick, we can have the padding. We say we start with the padding, and we can have a padding of 0 top and bottom, because we feel there's enough space top and bottom. But we can have not really, I think it is small. I think it is small. Let's try and see 20 pixels. Let's see top and bottom. No, there is no, we need a space. We need a space on top and bottom as well. So we can just remove this property of 0 so that it applies to both. So now we have some bit of spacing there. And then we can also set our margin. Now, when you look at the margin, on the margin, we have already enough space on the top, but on the sides, as we look at our individual, there's a lot of space on the side. So we need to create that. So how do we do that? So now we come, the top margin, we can have it as 0, but on the left-hand side, we can have a 10% sort of margin. And as you can see, now we have that margin on the sides well there. What else do we need to style? We also need to style the paragraph under that content. As you can see, this paragraph here is not breathing. It's compact. When you see on our original here, there's a lot of spacing and the font is a little bit bigger. So how do we style that? So we copy that class and then we style P for the paragraph. So now for the paragraph, we can give it a little bit of we can give it a color first. Change this color, make it more darker, a little bit darker for that. But we can also just style all our paragraphs as we go. So under the paragraph, we can say we give it a font size. All the paragraphs will have a font size of 18 pixels. So as you can see, our wordings have not grown bigger, but we also want to give it a line height because now these words are so compact. So the line height, we can give it maybe 1.6. Looks perfect. So now this actually looks perfect. What next we need to style? We need to style now our menu section. As you can see, our pictures here are big and stacked on each other. But what we want to achieve is this kind of flexed pictures, horizontal displayed and looking pretty, looking nice. So that's what we want to achieve. So how do we do that? So we come back and look for that section that we want to style. So that will be the menu section. So when you come here on the menu, we have the menu section. We want to style this part, we want to style this bit. So you come and pick this class, which is the menu section class that we have there. And come here and put a dot, and we want to style this. So how do we make those pictures go horizontal? Right now they are stacked. Okay. So as you can see here, now they are stacked like this, but we want to make them look like this. Okay, how do we do that? So we have a property that we can use for that, and we can use the property of display, and we can display them flex. So when we display them flex, okay, as you can see, now these pictures are displayed horizontally, but still not looking good because these pictures are still big. So we want to also give a space between these pictures. So how do we give a space between them? We can say justify content, which is the property, and we can justify by giving a space around, which is the suggestion we have there. So now it's not so visible, but there's some bit of spacing. Okay, we will need to style a bit more to get something perfect. And in that case, we also want to give a margin at the bottom. We want to give a margin in the bottom of this section. As you can see here, this section is so close to down here. So how to give a margin? So we come here and give a margin at the bottom. And the margin at the bottom will have 20 pixels. So we want to have some little bit of more space under there. We want also to style the items now themselves. So the items in this case are these pictures here, these images. So we can come and pick, remember we gave them a class of menu item, each one of them. So as we pick, we'll be styling all of those pictures at a go. So we come here, we start with a dot for a class. And the menu items, we can have the text align. We want to align that text, first of all, to the center. Which text? This express or rich word. So now they are at the center, as you can see. And we also want the padding, some spacing between these things. And we want to use a 10 pixels spacing between them. So now we have 10 pixels for the menu items. And then we also want to have a border around each of these pictures. And the border we will give is 1 pixel solid, and we give it a color that is a little lighter. So now, as you can see, there's some small border here, a line as you see highlighted that is separating these pictures. So that's what we wanted to achieve. And we will also have the border radius. The border radius is trying to curve those corners a little bit. As you can see now, we have sharp corners separating these pictures, as you can see here. But we want to curve them a little bit. So we'll give them a border radius of 8 pixels. So now we have them curved a little bit and looking pretty good. We will also have a width for each of these containers. And the width, we will give it 30%. Why 30%? We want them to have equally the same size of each. So as you can see, the speakers are coming to shape. Not all that looking good, but as you can see, there's some bit of shape coming here. What we need to do again, we will need to give a color to separate each of these. Okay, so if I have a background, we need to have a background color. And the background color, we could use sort of something a bit white, you can see. Now, as you see, there's a background behind these images, okay? But we can also give it like a color. We can also give it a color that is a little bit darker. Give a color to these wordings, everything that is within this section. And now we need to now style the images. So remember the images, for us to be able to style the images, as we prepared our HTML here, the menu item is enclosing the image. So to style this image, we will need to have this class of menu item and the image to be able to style the image. So what we'll do, we'll have a dot, and then we'll have image. And then now the image, we will give a width of 100%. Why do we give a width of 100%? We want the image to cover the section that has been apportioned to it. So once we do that, as you see, the images now will respond and say, I was apportioned 30% of this page, and out of the 30% I was apportioned, I need to cover 100% of that portion, and that's what you see is happening right now. And then we'll have a border radius of also 8 pixels, just to curve them a little bit. And now we have something looking pretty nice. Is it comparable to what we have here? Yeah, something looking a little bit nice for that matter. So after that, we will also need to now style. We also need now to style the footer. Okay. So for the footer, remember we gave it a class of contact, the contact info. So we'll come and copy this class, contact info, have it here, have a dot, contact info. And then under contact info, we'll have a background color. And the background color we want to give to that section is something a bit dark. And as you can see now, it's dark, but the wordings are not seen. So we need to give the words a little bit of color to make them pop. And we can give them white to contrast. And now we have white and we can see those words. We can give a padding. Since now there is no spacing in that section, we can give a padding of 20 pixels on either side. And now, as you can see, there is space, top and bottom, and right and left. We can also give a margin of 0 on top, because already we have a space on top, but also give now a margin of right and left of 10%, just to make them a little bit. So we can give a margin of 0, top and bottom, and then 10% for the sides. So now, as you can see, that section is now right in the middle, okay? So what else do we need to put here? We'll need to text a line to the center. As you can see, in this original one, the words are the center. You can see they're displayed at the center. Ours is still displayed on the left. So what we need to do, what property do we use? So we use a property called text align, and it's at the center. And those words will move to the center. Okay, what else do we need to style? I think it's coming to shape, but we need to style right now. As you can see, we are missing something here. Open daily 7 a.m., 7 p.m. And this one is not shown. Okay. Why is it not shown? Did we not write it in our file or something? Let me just check real quick and say that yeah, we missed it. We need to have it. That open daily 7. Yeah, we need to have it here and say a paragraph of, and say open daily, and just say 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So now we have that, and you can see it's already now displayed there. Okay, so what do we need to style now? We will need now to style our link. As you can see in this paragraph, where we have this, we have a link here with this A. So we need to style it. But to be able to style it, we will need to style that A exactly. Okay. So we will come and say, so we are styling that A, and we are saying we want to give it a color of, now this is a color that I chose, but you can use something different as much as it contrasts better. FF, and now we have that color of blue. What else do we need to style there? The text decoration. Now it is underlined, as you can see, but we want to remove that underline. So there is a property called text decoration, and we can call it none. And that underline is now removed. We can also have a font weight. We want to make it a little bit bolder. So when you want to bold something, use font weight, and we just call it bold. And we have it now as bold. So right now, when you take your cursor to this link, it's not showing anything, but we want it to have some effect. We want it to hover a little bit. When you go to it, maybe to show a different color or a little bit, have some bit of interactivity in it. And how do we do that? We use A and then we use hover. So what do we want it to hover? Which color do we want it to hover? So we can put the color and just have this color that I chose, 5, 6, B, 3. Slightly bluish, but a little bit dark, I guess. So now, as you can see, when you hover here, you see now there's some bit of effect on that link here. And when you click on it, let's just see what it will do to us. It will open another tab, and it will now show us that link that we had put here earlier. So basically, that is that. And yeah, now we have our coffee shop web page, well prepared, looking good. Even on small screens, as you see, it's still looking good. And yeah, this could be a beginning point for you. And you could build something like this. I will link on the description where you can get these pictures and all that you need to build what I've built here. But you can also build something different, but utilize the same idea that I've used here. And you can actually put this on GitHub and have a sort of a portfolio for yourself. Start building a portfolio for yourself as you build on your knowledge in web development. This was just to recap most of the things that we learned in this HTML series that we've been on. And we are now going to move into CSS, and we're going to learn how to come up with these styles. What are some of these properties? So I'll watch out for that. Please subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment, share it with your friends, share it with those who are learning web development, but also keep learning, keep coming back, and you'll get all that you need to learn your web development or to equip you with your web development from this channel. Thank you, and thank you for staying to the end, and have a good one. See you in the next video. Thank you.